The expectations have to be clear. Number two, you have to have clear expectations for students and teachers. What are teachers supposed to do if they find out somebody has COVID in the classroom? What are they supposed to do to assure that kids are in the hallways walking safely? Will there be several bells for transition, or will there just be one bell? Who's going to be in the hallway making sure that kids are not going to the bathroom horse playing like kids do? How are we going to identify our kids if they got a mask on and they put a hoodie over their head? Now all you can see is the little eyes, and that's how they want to walk around the school. What are the procedures for that? Who do they call if a kid refuses to keep his or her mask on? What's going to be your response for this? How are we going to make sure that the kids are getting fed lunch? Do they have to wear their masks? What do they have to do? How are we going to make sure we get lunches out to them? How are the kids going to be on the buses? Do they have to be apart from each other? Are we scanning their foreheads? Do we have thermometers? Will there be an extra nurse on staff? All of these procedures and policies have to be clear. They have to be robust. You have to really think about every detail. This is why I'm saying, principal, you cannot do this reentry plan alone. You have to bring as many great minds to the table as possible. What's the procedure for the COVID cases? You have a COVID case, what do we do? If a kid has a fever when they walk into the building, what do you do? How do you communicate to parents instantly when there is a situation? Do you have a robocall? Who's responsible for a robocall? What time will the robocall go out? How are you communicating with parents? Is there going to be an email address? How are we making sure that if a kid is sick, what if you get 4 or 5 kids that are sick at a time, how do you make sure that they're separated? What do you do for that classroom? Do you shut that classroom down? These are the things you got to think about. And these are the things that have to be detailed out in your procedure, in your policies. That's just COVID, right? Like, what about kids that are fighting? What about kids that, refuse to get off their cell phone, that are trying to make the TikTok video in the classroom? They on the desk doing this, trying to do a TikTok video because they think it's cool. What are you going to do with that? Like, do not be confused. School is coming into session, and COVID is an issue, but it's not the only issue. What's your procedure for fighting? What's your procedure for cell phone? What's your procedure for skipping class? What are your procedure for the kids who just don't want to show up? What's your procedure for teachers if they get sick? Who do they call? Who's going to run? Is there going to be detention? Is there going to be a morning detention? What are your procedures? What are your policies? Is there going to be academic intervention services? The classes that assure that kids can be caught up if they're not ready? What's your grading procedure? What's your grading policy? Is there going to be any leniency because kids haven't been in school? Is there going to be anything that we give kids to show that they belong to our school and not someone else's school? How are we going to know who's trespassing if they wear masks? I ran a school about 1,200 kids. Is there one door that the kids can come into? How much training are you going to give the teachers? Are there any incentive procedures that we're going to put in place? How do we make sure the classrooms are sanitized? Teachers are always complaining about the cleanliness of the building. The building is not clean enough. There's paper on the floor. How are we going to make sure with all of that going on that the building is sanitized? And then your grounds, your engineer, your maintenance people, they're going to always say, we don't have enough people to sanitize this whole building. So is there any money in the budget to buy more people? Are teachers responsible for sanitizing their whole building, whole classroom? Because you're going to hear that complaint. You want me to teach, prep, depart and sanitize my own class? Golly. You have to have all these procedures. They have to be spelled out. They have to be clear. So we talk about the safety of the school, the physical safety of the school. Now we're going to talk about the culture of the building. Now I'm really, for the sake of time, throwing these questions out to you just to start to get the juices flowing so that you can start thinking about, all right, do we have that in place? Do we have this in place? What are other schools doing? Leaders, please, 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 please. This is not an exam. It's okay to cheat off your neighbor's desk. It's okay to look over to the next door neighbor or the other school and say, hey, what y'all doing over there? Come on, move your hand. Move your hand. Let me see what you put on your answers. If I'm a school and I'm working in a big district, I'm on the phone with my principal friends. I'm having a coffee meeting, and I'm bringing 10 of us together, 12 of us together. I'm having cross-school conversations. Hey, what are you going to do, principal? What are you going to do, principal? What are your procedures? What are your policies? I'm working together as a team. The more people working on this policy, the better off for your school. Because once you get the policy in place, then after that, you have to then roll this out. Because it's one thing to write it down on a paper, then after you get all your procedures and policies in place, you have to roll it out to either your higher ups, they got to approve it, but they're going to have so many, like for real. Really, then you want to give it back to your teachers and your teacher leaders. And when multiple teachers and multiple individuals had a say on this, it's an easier sell. Right? Like the more people you get on this, it's a little harder to get through because there's so many people. But the more people you get on this team, the easier it is to roll out to the staff because they now become your mouthpiece. They can say, well, yeah, we worked on this, we thought about this, and we're going to give it a shot. We focused on this, and we thought about this, and we did this, and we faced this hurdle. And now it becomes something where we're no longer just thinking about us, we're thinking about how do we put this plan together so everyone could be successful. So let's talk about this. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule and spending it with me. We talked about the re-entry plan. Schools are coming back, and I know there's a lot of anxiety, a lot of worry, a lot of fear, but it's possible. And in this session, I gave you some really, really great strategies on how to bring kids back safely. For more information, visit me at my website, meaconsultantsllc.com, or you can email me. The email is down below. I would love to come speak at your school, come visit you, come walk around your school, and really help you be successful. Thank you again for all of your support and all of your love. This entire video is for purchase. If you email me or inbox me, we can get it out to you. It's only $10. Until next time, this is Dr. Mark Abraham, President and CEO of MEA Consulting Services LLC. Have a great day. Have a successful re-entry back into school. Let's go.